Black people, this is bait. Okay? Hear me when I say this. This is bait. This is bait. This is them playing with your emotions. This is them trying to incite anger within you so that you will then get out into the streets. And then when you get out into the streets, they are going to beat you. They are going to murder you. And then Donald Trump will have what he needs to call martial law. Don't do it. Stay your behind at home. If they want to pardon Derek Chauvin, let them do it. They want to release him under some other pretense, let them do it. Them and Derek Chauvin.
Thousands of Ukrainians are temporarily living in the U.S.
There are some viral videos claiming Ukrainians are receiving benefits like Social Security while they're living here.
So Jerry Carnes with our Verified team is digging into the claim.
President Joe Biden is committed to welcoming 100,000 Ukrainians who fled the war there to find their way here to the United States. There are viral videos like this one questioning that commitment.
President Biden has made it legal for Ukrainian immigrants to get SSI checks.
Our viewers asked us to verify if Ukrainians here in the United States are receiving benefits like Social Security. Let's check. Our sources are the Social Security Administration, the Office of Refugee Resettlement, the Uniting for Ukraine program, and immigration lawyer Charles Cook. According to Cook, there are 3 ways Ukrainians can legally seek refuge here. One is through the Uniting for Ukraine program. Those who qualify can stay in the U.S. for up to 2 years as humanitarian parolees and receive some benefits.
They're eligible for food stamps. They're eligible for supplemental Social Security, SSI. They're eligible for insurance, Medicare.
The Social Security Administration says that certain Ukrainians in the U.S. may be eligible for SSI benefits. The Office of Refugee Resettlement confirms humanitarian parolees may also be eligible for assistance through existing programs, like the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, health care through Medicaid, and food through SNAP.
Donald Trump just said he wants to deport 240,000 legal Ukrainian refugees from the United States. And there's air raids going off all around me here in the capital of Ukraine, and it really begs the question, to where? Where are Ukrainian refugees supposed to go while the United States is siding with Russia? Most Ukrainian refugees I have met in the West are people who want to go home, who would happily go home. They don't need to be deported. They speak of their home in Mariupol, Donetsk, Luhansk with love and passion, places they grew up and places they would go home in seconds. But instead of giving them a home to go to and allowing them to go home, Donald Trump has decided to side with the person and the country that took their home from them. And that is why this is so cruel and so evil. This city is being bombarded, as you can hear, on a daily basis by Russia. And that is why there are 240,000 Ukrainian refugees in the US. People that would go home in a second. But Donald Trump has decided instead that he wants to side with their enemy, to side with the person that's firing drones and missiles all around me right now. And that's why this is particularly evil and particularly sick.
Nell Diallo was having a great time dancing and twerking in the aisle on an empty plane before an early morning flight. She's the flight attendant whose twerking cost her dream job.
I didn't think that being so happy can turn into something like this.
She posted the video on TikTok along with the caption, "What's wrong with a little twerk before work?" But after the video went viral, she says Alaska Airlines fired her.
I decided to just take advantage of the moment to wake myself up and get myself hyped up for my day, basically.
What did they say to you?
They just said that I broke their social media policy.
Nell had only been on the job for 6 months. She was twerking to celebrate the end of her probationary period. Why did you decide to post the video?
And I was really proud of myself that I came so far. I just didn't think that my video and my post and the way I was dancing would be deemed as inappropriate. I put on such a proud face every time I stepped on that plane. And for them to terminate me without giving me a chance, it just was unfair.
How much is it? How much is it? How much is that? How much is it? 29.68. Huh. How much is that? Why are you not talking? Open your hand. No, open your hand. Open your hand. No, open your hand.
I'm too what we close.
How much? Here, how much?
It's 27, huh?
28. Here, 29.
Huh. Why are you shaking your head for?
This is like a genuine question, so don't get mad at me because I really want to know. Why do white gay people, immediately after coming out, act like the opposite gender but black? You know, Billie Eilish came out and immediately started acting like a black guy. And a lot of other like masculine lesbian women will do that. But it's weird because it's always this like caricature of how they think a black guy would act. Like do-rag, wife beater, masculine, lower their voice, walk around like a thug. Isn't that a little racist? Am I going crazy or is that racist? Same thing with like white gay men acting like black women and they immediately put on an accent and start like wearing long acrylic nails and putting hoops in their ears. Like that's a stereotype. You're just stereotyping. Why are you acting like a black woman from like Atlanta when you live in Maine? You're both your parents are dentists that make over $200,000 a year and you're over here like, girls don't do it. Why do you talk like that? Why do you talk like that? I feel like that's also racist, but I can't tell because I'm not gay or black. You know, so I want someone to tell me, like, what is going on there? Why do they do that? I'm genuinely curious. Like, please don't take this as me trying to make fun of anyone. I actually want to know why they do that.
I would just urge those who want to have a second forum to keep your eye on the issue here. The issue is that the individuals in these groups do not have Abenaki ancestry. They have great stories.
Who determines that?
Because I've actually
Who determines that?
I
Say that.
actually did the genealogies of every single family that they claim in their own documentation. And there's no Abenaki ancestors. That's it. That's the story. You had a flawed process that recognized people who have no Abenaki ancestry, and now you have individuals who are upset because of that, because there's a possibility that that truth will come out. But that was never part of the process. I have all of the documents. You can access it yourself. This is a serious problem that you've engaged in.
Black Americans turned their backs against the U.S. and fought alongside the Filipino resistance during the Philippine-American War. If caught, these soldiers were deemed as traitors by the U.S. and then hanged in public. These black soldiers couldn't justify their participation in the possibility of Philippines and the rest of Asia being subject to the same invasion, slavery, and destruction that was placed among them and the Native Americans in the U.S. They feared that the same thing would happen to Philippines and they couldn't stand it. One of these brave soldiers was Captain David Fagan, who was a highly skilled guerrilla officer. He led 8 military operations, which helped temporarily give Philippines an advantage in the war, but we know how it turned out. US deemed him as a traitor and put a 600 bounty on his head, but he was never found. Dehumanizing tactics used on Black Americans were also exported to the Philippines during the American colonial period. They deemed Filipinos as the N-words of Asia. Because of this, the US embedded anti-Blackness and colorism within Filipino society and culture to destabilize and keep Filipinos and the small black population there divided. The US actually left Philippines in a worse situation than Spain ever did, and their kill count was a lot higher, but that's a conversation for another day. It is Black History Month, and one other way that they are related is that the Spanish also brought enslaved Africans over to the Philippines during their colonial period. Happy Black History Month, and thank you to our Black allies. Just wanted to highlight how Filipino history and Black history actually are related.
All right, so this is something that I didn't get a chance to actually cover in the live stream, and I did want to touch directly on this topic because I've said for a long time that I find this very problematic, and it seems as though that the only time people want to talk about age difference is specifically when it's an older male going after, meaning dating, trying to court a younger woman. So if you have a guy that is 30 and 20, I'm sorry, if you have a guy that's 30 and 40 and he decides that he wants to date women that are in their 20s, women everywhere will lose their minds. They'll start screaming and crying. They'll say that this is, some type of predatory behavior, and they'll call him everything under the book, right? But online, overwhelmingly, I've seen women advocate for things like this. They will specifically state that, oh, ain't nothing wrong with this. She's going and getting a bag. She's securing the future. She's doing this. She's doing that. I want to just note, this is a 37-year-old woman. Let's just round that up, 40 years old. She's closer to 40 than he is, right? She's basically 40, and he is 23. Or better yet, let me do it like women do it. She's 40, close to 50, and he just got out of high school, right? That's how a lot of women online want to pay it or portray it when it deals with the younger woman directly out there. They want to make it seem as though that men are primarily only going after girls who are in high school. So the title or the headline of the story was, Anthony Edwards allegedly filed a motion claiming that he does not want visitation or custody of his 4-month-old daughter with Aisha Howard. And again, I'm not mad. I don't have a problem directly with this. He's upfront. He's honest. He's 23 years old. It is what it is. I think some other people have stated online that he has kids with other women. Again, it is what it is. This woman, who is way old enough to be able to discern for herself, to properly pick the right guy, opted to go for somebody who is 23 years old because he has money, because he is up and coming, because she's not trying to sit up there and work. She's not trying to have a job. She's trying to live off of somebody else. And if that means that she has to get pregnant and have a child in order to make sure that she's going to have 10 grand, 20 grand, or whatever a month, she's going to sit up there and do that. But by all means, she's going to do this, but then decide that she wants to complain because he doesn't want to be a father. But at the end of the day, you being 40 years old, picked a 20-year-old to get you pregnant. So again, I'm not mad at him. I wouldn't try to press him to be a father. I don't have an issue with him not wanting to be a father because, again, she picked him. And this is the main example that I've talked about time and time again, where you have fields of women out here that want to get mad at the guy versus getting mad at themselves for picking the guy and laying up with the guy and allowing him to have unprotected relations with her, inevitably getting her pregnant. But like I said before, somehow, some way, just like I've read online, all the women out there want to primarily blame him. They want to say that he's the problem. Guys like him are the problem. She's just an innocent bystander. She doesn't know what she was doing. Why can't men stand up? Why don't men want to be fathers? It's crazy work out here. It's crazy work when even people and women online don't want to make a woman like this, who is almost 40, responsible for her own decision making. That's crazy work. That's 100% crazy work, but we're living in a crazy world. So I can't, expect any wiser people directly, out here. Somehow, some way, somebody else has to pay for other people's bad decisions. And here we are. We're looking at somebody else paying for somebody else's bad decisions. And I'm pretty sure, more than likely, this young dude had a conversation, or they might have joked around or whatnot or whatever about the whole thing. About, what if a pregnancy were to happen. I can tell you more than likely that happened, because that's a conversation that normally happens in pretty much every relationship. Oh, what if this happened? What if, oops, it always comes up. It always comes up. Even if you go back to people who were teenagers, that question always came up. So I know at a certain point in time that came up. But like I said before, even if it didn't come up, that's completely cool. The end of the day is this 40-year-old wanted to go after money, and she was going to do that by any means necessary. And she did that. So again, I'm not exactly certain or sure why women online are specifically mad that he doesn't want to be a father. It's an even trade, right? He's not going to be in the child's life, so nobody can sit up there and, try to really blame him for anything. But he's more than likely going to be on some type of assistance like child support. And they're probably going to put it at $5,000 or $10,000 a month, which they always seem to do, which makes no sense because no child, no healthy, able-bodied child needs $5,000 a month in order to literally live and survive. Like, that makes no sense. That money is literally for the woman. This is the exact same thing that sort of took place with a UFC player, but the only difference is kids weren't involved. But the woman felt as though that since she was with the UFC champion for at least a year, that she is owed some type of monies or reimbursement for her time. Like I said, the craziest things that women would try to sue for or do for money instead of actually just going out there and working and getting things from the ground off of yourself. It's crazy work, but it is what it is. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed and stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.